Hey everyone, so before we get started in this video, yes, I did split up this special into separate videos for each individual game, and I only did that for your viewing pleasure and to give it just like smaller bite-sized videos as compared to an hour and a half commitment. So I did this for each and every single game. This intro will be in every single game. Yeah, just let's get right into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel.
What the hell was that?
Hey, down here. Yoo-hoo.
Oh, there you are. Who are you?
It's me. Or you. Everyone look at it. Also, I have to add, stop saying welcome back to the channel. What if someone here is new? And more importantly, how do you not recognize us?
I don't know, but now that you mention it, that is our armor. And yeah, you're right about that, not very inclusive of me. Wait, hold on, that's not the point. What are you doing here?
So, I've been thinking, since we're mostly a Halo YouTuber, don't we think it's about time we start doing machinima style intros and such?
I've been wanting to do that for a while. I just had no idea how to make a machinima or even how to lower the weapon so it actually looks like we're talking to the viewer.
Dude, it's so simple. Just go to Reddit. Reddit has all the answers. It also has more than that, but we don't talk about that side of it.
Well, I guess now's a good time to get started. Besides, I had no idea how to make this special stand out from any other video. So, thanks, little me?
Hey, no problem. It's what I'm here for. I got the rest of the intro from here, so get your voice ready to talk about all these damn levels.
Sir, yes, sir. I hand the mantle of audibility to you. See you soon.
Okay, bye now. Jeez, I can't believe this guy. He's been using that same intro for so long. Well, now that I have your attention, let me explain the special that some of you have been waiting to see. For the special, I was going to play through every campaign and every level in MCC, but each level has a twist, challenge, or objective I have to complete before I can move on to the next level. And what makes this special so, well, special is the fact that some of these challenges are viewer submitted. As for the rest of them, I made up a giant list of other challenges, put them on a random selector, and then, well, just took it from there. There were a few levels where I deliberately chose a specific challenge, but that was just to make it more interesting. Without wasting any more of your time, and my own, let's get into it. Take it away, Sky Me.
Thanks, little me. I got it from here. So we're starting off strong with the very first level. The objective for this one comes from Will Perry, and he would like me to kill all the Moas in this level. That's very sinister, my guy. Right from the beginning, there was only 2 Moas running away from the houses, so I killed them with my Magnum. I made my way through said house, scouted out for any more of those peaceful birds that didn't do anything wrong to deserve this fate. After taking out a few jackals and grunts, I made it to the section with the elite ultras and killed all of the Moas here as well. There were 4 there, I believe. After that, I hopped into the truck, ran a few more Moas over, then got out to shoot the rest of them. I found and killed 3 more of them on my way to the objective, and once I got to the mission objective, I extinguished the rest of their ranks and finished the task at hand. Before moving on, who hurt you, Will? And do you need a hug? This challenge is one of my own, and the name should give away what it is. The par time for this level is 10 minutes, so I had to beat the level within that time. The difficulty was set to normal for this one, and after clearing out the courtyard, I managed to destroy both wraiths with 1 missile launch, so that helped save time. And as soon as the Warthog was dropped off, I drove to my first destination. I used the target designator on this building here to take out the elites, but that was for nothing really, because I accidentally killed myself. Second time around, I got to the controls and made it to my second destination. Once I got there, I picked up the rocket launcher, activated the switch, and drove back to Sword Base. I used the target designator on the Covenant in the courtyard and used the rocket launcher on the Hunters on the inside. Once I got inside the building, I was cutting it very close, so I had to ignore everything so that way I would have enough time to destroy the Banshees. When I made it to the top, I used the target designator on the Phantom and shot down the said Banshees with my rocket launcher. After Emil said his line, I got the final results and beat this level with 14 seconds to spare. Here's another challenge of mine, and the name should also give away what it is. I kept the difficulty on normal, but to help achieve the 7,500 score, I turned on the Fog, Tough Luck, Famine, and Catch Skulls. Thankfully I know this level like the back of my hand and could run through it pretty quick to get the time bonus as well. When the level started, I sniped all the elites that were scouting around here and made short work of their reinforcements. By the time I got to the section with the Goudas, I already had 7,000 score, and by killing them I got the rest of the points I needed, so I'm going to go ahead and skip to the after report. With the final results pulled up, I beat this level with a score of 10,312. At the start of this level, I had to rely on Cat to kill some coveys for me so I would get my hands on my proper weapons. In no time at all, I got a plasma pistol, then killed a jackal to get a needler. With some Covenant weapons acquired, I decided to run past everything. Okay, well I tried to. Second go around, I got my hands on the same weapons and actually killed the rest of the Covenant in the section. Once the rocket hog was dropped off, I kicked the Marine out of the gun and drove alone. When I got to the AA gun, I killed the elite general without any problems and destroyed the gun with the needler combine. After that was over, I drove to the mining facility and ran up, deciding to skip some of the Covenant encounters. On my way out of the facility, I picked up a plasma launcher, got in the Revenant, blew up any and all Covenant standing in my way. Once I blew up the second AA gun, the Falcon came in for the pickup and I just had to sit there and hope that I can get through there without dying. You know, since I can't fight back. The first go around was rough, but the second one was successful. It's always the second one. The final section wasn't too bad either. I picked up a jetpack to help with Banshee hijacking and took out any Covenant that was being a thorn in my side. Eventually I got a Banshee down long enough for me to steal it and flew myself up to the spire. When I got up there, I managed to trap the Elite Ultra with my Banshee, so that made killing him much easier. I punched his body off the spire as well, only because I felt like it, and killed the rest of his crew. The name for this one should get the point across of what it is, but just in case I'll explain. Other than the saber section, I'm only allowed to use guns that shoot green bullets. And since it's Halo Reach, the only option I have is the plasma pistol. Great. Don't get me wrong, it's a great gun if used properly, and there's no short supply of them. I just wish I had more options. The beach section wasn't too bad. I just did some sneaking around, killed whoever I could, and let Noble Team do most of my dirty work. One long saber section later, then I'm inside the Corvette. Killing all of the Covenant before letting George in was much easier than I initially expected, but it was done nonetheless. When I got to the bridge of the ship, killing all of the Spec Op elites and the General was more time consuming than difficult. I killed everything else before taking out the General, that way there weren't any distractions or mishaps. And once I got back to George, the final section wasn't too bad either. Well, other than taking a plasma grenade to the face. Second go around went a lot better, and thanks to George, I didn't have to restart the section because I ran out of ammo on the final Ultra. Thanks, George. It was an honor to fight by your side. Now, unless I did something wrong, beating this level without a jetpack is impossible. But I did try either way. Once I got to the jetpack section, I got stuck on all these railings, and no matter what I did, I couldn't find a way up or around. I kept at it for a couple of minutes, but eventually I gave up on this one and went with the challenge I initially had planned for this level. Now, what is that challenge, you might be asking? Well, it's reverse controls. I'll go ahead and show on screen what I typically use when I'm playing, and then when I swapped it too. Yeah, this one was awful. The challenge behind this one was just fighting against my own muscle memory, and I'm 100% certain it will show in the gameplay. What made it worse is that if I wanted to scope in, I still had to click in on the right stick, but I had to aim with the left stick, and it was inverted. The suicide grunt section took a while because I couldn't just go for a quick headshot like I typically do. Instead, I had to bait the grunts out, then block using the armor lock. I actually made it out of that section first try, so that was a good feeling. When I got outside and started fighting the brutes, I just stood still because whenever I got into a battle that was really hectic, I would start getting super confused on what I was doing and what buttons to even press. But unfortunately for me, I did not hear the plasma grenade behind me. Dude, what the hell even is that checkpoint? Okay, it's nothing I haven't already done before. Same as the first time, I took it slow and made it back outside, but decided to keep my distance so that way I wouldn't have to go through that again. After I killed all the brutes and skirmishers, I picked up a spiker because of the boost to melee damage. And melee was my one and only friend through this level. You know, the challenge isn't too bad actually. Bullshit, I want a refund. After a few more minutes and being thrown around by brutes, the next wave came in and I decided to use the turret to help take out the brute chieftain so that way I can get his hammer. And thankfully that idea worked. After I killed the rest of them, I got back to the jetpack section, slowly jumped from platform to platform, then stood back and picked off whatever Covenant I could using the DMR. Once most of the heavy hitters were dealt with, I booked it to the Traxxas Tower. I got through it by the skin of my teeth, picked up a rocket launcher, and continued to run past everything. I hid in this room until it was safe and gravity slammed any Covenant that dared disturb my peace. And once it was safe to leave, I made it to the section with the two shade turrets, and while still in cover, I lined up my throw so that way I could destroy them using plasma grenades. I went back to pick up a fuel rod can so that way I could easily take out the two brute chieftains in that next room. Once it was out of ammo, I went back again for my hammer, killed the hammer chieftain, took his hammer, and blew up the rest of the Covenant. One short but kind of depressing Falcon ride later, I got dropped off at the final section. I hopped in the Warthog and drove straight to the controls to kill the two chieftains that come out of this room. With them taking out, all I have to do is activate the missile batteries, then it's over. The first one wasn't too bad, but of course the second one gave me issues. Second go around I activated it, but the Wraith left... Second go around I activated it, but the Wraith I left alone came back to bite me in the ass. After I respawned, I got lucky and drove to the missile controls. Finally, this challenge is over. Not like it's gonna matter though, because it will return a few more times because the random selector I used did not favor me. While I failed the last challenge you submitted, here's another one that I will not fail. While at first I thought this one was going to be easy, that was my first mistake. The second mistake I made was even slightly memorizing the reverse controls because I felt all messed up after I set them back to normal. And there's a third mistake, but I'll get to that one once it pops up in the footage. This challenge, while simple, took me over an hour and 15 minutes. I swear hijacking a Banshee on the original version of Reach was so much easier. This one is starting off strong because for some reason, Banshees weren't spawning in and my game froze. Once I restarted the level, I decided to hop into the Falcon and hop right back out, so hopefully make the game think I'm going to the next building. Afterwards, all I had to do was wait for some Banshees to fly by and steal one. I said steal one. Come on, just grab it! So if it wasn't already obvious, this one took a while. Eventually one flew low enough for me to grab on without having to jump off the building I was on. I flew to the hospital, parked my Banshee for later use, and made quick work of all the Covenant inside. When I got to the jammer, I shut it down and then proceeded to make a really big mistake. I didn't trade my sprint for a jetpack. That was my third mistake, and this would come back to bite me in the ass. When I got back outside, my Banshee despawned. So I called for backup, killed said backup, propped up the Falcon so I can hijack a Banshee more easily, and got stuck here for a few more minutes because of the game being stingy with its button prompts. After 15 minutes and many deaths, I finally got my hands on one and flew to the next objective. After helping some Marines with their Banshee problems, I flew to the next building with the drones ambushed and shut down that jammer as well. Thankfully my Banshee didn't despawn this time around, but I had a bigger problem. Buck needed an escort, which normally wouldn't be a problem, but my Banshee was already incredibly damaged and weak at that point, so this is a prolonged section. Once I escorted Buck to his destination, I decided to hijack a new Banshee since my current one was in flames. When I made it to the final building, I shut down the last jammer and made another big mistake of not grabbing a jetpack. Again. By the time I realized they were in there, the doors locked behind me. Oh yeah, and my Banshee despawned again, so I was stuck here. Again. After many more attempts of throwing myself off a building, I got one, destroyed the shade turrets, and finished this level without using a Falcon, for the most part. Alright, this one is very simple. I can only use rifles. To be more specific though, I only allowed rifles that specifically said rifle in the name, like assault rifle, focus rifle, or plasma rifle. I didn't include the DMR just because I didn't want to really. This challenge wasn't really a challenge either. It felt like a typical run of the level, so I won't be speaking much of it. There were plenty of rifles in this level, and the only difficult part was the long firefight section at the end. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next level. I am so glad that they specifically said only explosives and not only grenades. I was beginning to have flashbacks of the grenade run. With that being said, I'm allowed to use anything that explodes and only explodes. Although for old time's sake, I'm gonna try to assassinate the elite.
Just deliver that package.
Whoops. Oh well, I'm not resetting. Everyone knows you can straight up run past everything here. I got my hands on a rocket launcher, then hopped into a mongoose and drove away. I completely bypassed the race section, saw the suicide grunts commit, well, suicide, and watched Carter do a nosedive into a scarab. After that display of dedication to his job, I ran past the drones and skirmishers, picked up a grenade launcher, and continued running past everything until I reached the hunters. Who am I kidding? I skipped them too by crouch jumping through a window and barely avoiding death by the hands of the sword elite. And in no time at all, I made it to the final section and there were no shortages of explosives, thanks to the grenade launcher ammo and the fuel rod chieftain. In record time, I took out the Covenant, handed Cortana over to Captain Keyes, and watched Emil become everyone's favorite barbecue snack.
Who's next?
The kebab. Once the cutscene was over, I booked it to the Mac gun, killed the elite field marshal for once, disrespected my boy Emil for no good reason, and destroyed the Covenant cruiser. Let me just put a timer on for this really quick. Okay, now I just gotta move this here and get into the right spot, and presto. Now all I have to do is sit here and do something else while I wait. Once the 30 minutes were up, I jumped out of my place of hiding and took my punishment for being a coward. But we gotta get a move on, so you're up, little me.
And welcome back. While most of the challenges for Reach were my own, the few that were submitted by all of you were fun, harder than expected, and for winter contingency, rather sinister. Gotta love animal cruelty, I guess. But that's only one game out of 6, so we need to get to Combat Evolved.